Welcome. My name's Rob. I play in Rorquals. I have a new EP coming out called Freedom and Isolation. That's the front cover there. I thought it might be quite cool to do some sort of listening party sort of thing. I think that's what they call it now. But yeah, we'll just have a listen to each of the songs, and I can sort of tell you what's inspired them, or the sort of sounds and stuff that you're hearing, where they came from, where they were recorded, stuff like that. You might also hear in the background another voice. That'll be my wife Eliza. She's filming this. She might interject with the odd little question, stop me from rambling too much, stuff like that. So here we go. Here's the first one. Thank you. Okay, so this is the first song in the EP. It's called Gabriel. Recorded it probably a year or two back now. I can't really remember, but it was at a kind of family holiday at my mother-in-law's house in Dorset. They got a lovely family piano, and myself and Eliza were basically noodling. I wrote this little piece and she was kind of jamming this lovely melody over the top. So I sort of I think I just stuck my phone on the piano and just hit record. But in the background you can hear, I think we had, like the whole family was there, and there was our nephew Gabriel, so you can hear in the background talking to his dad and his nanny. I think they were just getting ready to go out, and it just sort of added a really beautiful element to the song. I thought I tried re-recording it a bunch of times afterwards because I really liked the piano parts, but it was just rubbish without the added sort of ambience of the family in the background it really made for the song. Plus, I could never re-record Eliza's sort of wonderful melody over the top. And yeah, I didn't really do too much to it. I just sort of added some string parts that you can kind of hear in the background now coming through. That's Gabriel talking to Nanny. Yeah, I totally agree. It added a sort of real innocence to the track that you just wouldn't have if it didn't have his gorgeous little ramblings over the top. One bit that I didn't use, it kind of cuts in just after the end here. So that's Alex saying, who's that for, Gabriel? And Gabriel saying cat. But what you don't hear is that after that, we're kind of noodling a little bit more, and Alex shouts up to his wife Elle and goes, Elle, where are the nappies? It's pretty funny, but that didn't work with the piano piece so much. But yeah, so that gives you an idea of what that track's about. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so the second track on the EP is called Dorset Wind Chimes. Also, the basis of the song was recorded, as you'd expect from the title, in Dorset, at my mother-in-law's Mary's place. Again on the sort of family piano, but in her garden, which was always the way we arrived. We always parked around the back and sort of drove and walked through the garden up to the back door. She had this beautiful set of wind chimes that would always greet you whenever you arrived, and also the last thing that you heard when you sort of left as well. Mary now lives in Westcliff in Essex here. She moved back recently, so in our last visit there I thought I would record these beautiful wind chimes and try and do something with a field recording of it. So I did that, and then I took the recording inside to the piano and just wrote this kind of really slow, almost sort of broody piano piece that kind of sits over the top of it, and that's all I had to begin with. Then started working on it, putting it together, sort of added, I think you can hear, there's kind of like a ambient swirly sort of guitar that sort of gradually comes in and sort of weaves in and out of the piano part, which I really like. And then on the other speaker, I think a sort of like a stringed part sort of comes in again, sort of swirling and giving. I think it sort of gives a little bit of lift and a bit, sort of a bit of nice ambience to the track. I kind of use like a whole load of delay and reverb with like a sort of volume pedal that sort of creates these sort of, these drawn in swells that kind of appear and then sort of disappear and almost sort of blend in with each other to create like a sort of like a space. I think it gives a bit of depth to each side. Wasn't really too sure when I was putting it together where to go from there, and I don't know why, I just sort of thought maybe like a sort of arpeggiated synth sound might sound quite good, like a dugga sort of underneath it, helps sort of build it even more and kind of drive it along, which I definitely think it does. It sort of just gradually, subtly kind of builds. And then some big sort of guitars as well. Using the same kind of processes before with the delays and the volume, but I think I use like a sort of octave pedal with it as well, so it's kind of really like grunty and sort of low. Almost just kind of gathers it up, So that was a Electro Harmonix Mel 9, I think it's called. It's based on a Mellotron, which is like an old keyboard type thing, which has got tape samples basically of different instruments on like a loop. which gives a really cool kind of warbly sort of effect. So yeah, that's the string section of that pedal, but again using lots of delay and stuff like that, and the volume pedal. Yeah, I think it's pretty authentic sort of sound. I think it's a really lovely way of ending the piece as well. Just the sort of strings and then the chimes of the the wind chimes coming back in that almost you forgot about a minute or two ago, but then they kind of come back in and you're like, yeah, that's how I remember, that's how it started. Yeah, there you go. That was Dorset wind chimes. Okay, so this next track is inspired by the fact that I'm half Maltese. My mum's Maltese, so I've been going to Malta ever since I was 6 months old. Lots of family out there, so I really wanted to sort of write a track that kind of was inspired by my love of Malta and my family of Malta and just how beautiful the place is. So last time we were out there, I recorded loads, as many different things as I could whilst we were travelling around, all of which you can kind of hear in this piece. There's a bit of spoken word coming up. I won't talk over that. I'll explain more about that in a little while. But this first sort of sample that you can hear was recorded in a cathedral in Gozo. Just beautiful. There was no one else in there, and this was just playing over the tannoy, so I just recorded it in its natural ambience. It was, absolutely beautiful, and it turned out to basically to be the crux of this song. It weaves in and out all the way through it, and I absolutely love it. But yeah, a bit of spoken word coming up, so well.
Konna niltaqgħu bil-familja kollha biex ngħidu r-riżarju. Missieri kien jgħid l-istazzjonijiet u aħna nirrispondu. Xi kultant kien ikun għajdi u kienet mura l-bejn. Ta' tfal li konna aħna nibdew nitolbu nħarsu lejn xulxin. Wara ftit għajnejn missieri kienu jinfetħu. Jatina ħarsa kera. Kien ikompli r-riżarju biex ma ġara xejn.
So that's my mum. I asked her if she would kindly sort of try and recall some childhood memories and record them in Maltese for me. I thought that the track was sounding good, but it just needed something, and I thought, you know what, that could work. And she did an amazing job. So I think we've got memories of her laughing with her siblings whilst my nanu, granddad, was praying. I think this one that you can hear underneath me talking now is her talking about nanu making a lampuki pie, which is this sort of fish which is synonymous with the area that he'd go out and catch and then make this incredible pie afterwards. And then I think the last memory is my mum recalling doing the rosary with her mum. Three very beautiful sort of poignant memories, which I think really adds to the piece. In the background now you can hear various other things. There's fireworks going off, which we recorded at the Festa in Waliha last time we were there. There's also waves crashing up on the beach as well. I think there's various kind of synth drones that I've managed to just manipulate sounds that I've recorded whilst we were out there. Yeah, there's church bells as well. Yeah, it wouldn't be Malta if there wasn't some church bell ringing somewhere. Yeah, I think coming in you'll hear a like sort of weird squeaky thing at some point. Yeah, I think it's coming up, but that's like a windmill in a farmer's field, really old metal beaten up one. And then yeah, back with some of the fireworks again, and that beautiful choral piece, which is now kind of pinging around the stereo. Proud of it. It was a very difficult thing to take these, other than the choral thing, these very non-musical songs and try and create a piece of music around it. I hadn't really done it like that before, but I really hope that, you know, the sort of tribute to Malta kind of comes across through it. I like to think it does. So this is, I'm probably going to get slaughtered by my Maltese family for the pronunciation, but Hesjas Tut Malta, I think, is how it's pronounced, but it means sounds of Malta. But yeah, there'll probably be a few messages saying, you pronounced that wrong. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Okay, so this next track is called Freedom in Isolation. I originally was just going to release this as a 3-track EP, but it just didn't quite feel finished. So after having a discussion one morning in lockdown with my mate Paul from Dead Circuits, always talking to him was very inspirational. It was kind of like he was in a real zone with what he was doing at the moment, and I was like, oh, you know what, I feel pumped, let's do something. And just at that moment, it was raining really heavily, and that same piano that's featured in the other songs that was in Dorset has now ended up in our garden shed. So I took the recorder out there. The rain was battering down on the roof, which you can kind of hear in the background, and I just started kind of fiddling on the piano, and just wrote this little sort of piano piece that I just kind of fell in love with, and then sort of recorded, there was like a sort of metal bowl in the garden as well, which had the rain pinging on it, like little ding 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 ding, sort of, so you can hear that in some places as well. And even though it was lashing it down, the birds were loving it. They were in the trees and they were like just singing away to their heart's content. I guess because at that time no one was around, you know, everyone was indoors, it was really chilled out, you know, you could always hear the birds singing more. In lockdown, it was one of the beautiful things about it, I thought. So yeah, I had that piece, and then I added this organ to it that you can just hear coming in. I guess kind of a little bit like Dorset wind chimes, it's a real slow builder, it kind of gradually picks up and sort of doesn't really take pace, it kind of just evolves and sort of, I hope, sort of sweeps you along with it. Again, like with the last song and my mum adding that bit of spoken word, with this one I really felt that it lacked something, there was just something missing, and I think I played it to Eliza, and she, as she does, because she's very naturally gifted like that, can just whack a sort of melody on top of anything. And I was like, do you want to sing on it? Because I think it would really, really work. And obviously she was bang up for it. So, had the piece as it was. I think she listened to it once or twice and just banged down, I think, 2 different melodies, and each of the melodies had 2 different harmonies. It took her like 20 minutes, half an hour. It was incredible. But as you can hear, it just really helps. The vocals really help lift and build the song, and they're beautiful. So I think when I had most of this song done, I had, 3 different versions of it ending. I added strings and synths and stuff, and just no matter what I did, it just didn't seem to give it that kind of crescendo lift at the end that I really wanted to give it. So in the end I ditched all that, grabbed a guitar, plugged it into a distortion pedal, and it was created this really huge sort of wall of guitar underneath that I then added like a kick and a floor tom strike to it as well, just to just push it along. And then it all sort of gradually fades out and just leaves Eliza and the rain, and then there's like a little xylophone dinging a melody in the background as well that just comes in now. Yeah, so there you go, Freedom in Isolation. Okay, so this is the final track of the album. It's called 19 Voices. This piano piece was recorded the same time as I did the piano for Freedom in Isolation. I slowed it right down. It sounded really cool and eerie and creepy, and I really wanted to use it for that song, but it just didn't work. No matter what I did, I couldn't get it to work. But I loved it so much, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna use it. I know this was going to be a 3-song EP. It then became a 4-song EP, and sod it, let's make it a 5-song EP. So I thought, I've got this piece of piano. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to kind of mess around with it, and it just sort of evolved into this sort of ambient noise piece. It gets pretty raucous in places, was trying to remember what it was I used to create that melody. I think I managed to take a sample and I put it through the sampler app, and it just created this like sort of this grainy synth part, which I thought was really cool. I thought it sat on top of the piano really well. But once I kind of put it all together, again, a bit of a reoccurring theme here, just thinking that it's not quite there. And I just thought, the vocal thing has worked really well. It'd be kind of cool to have another sort of vocal sample. And because we were sort of in the throes of lockdown, I didn't want to do anything really obvious about COVID and the situation, but I thought what could be pretty cool is if I managed to track down various members of the public from across the globe being interviewed about their experience at the moment, what they're going through, their thoughts and feelings, stuff like that. So that's the various vocals that you can hear there. I think there's a lady from Japan who's having a laugh about the fact that she's got to wear a mask. There's another guy from Italy who's being interviewed about the fact that because they're socially distant now, Italians have almost lost their personality because they're not allowed to be like hello to each other and stuff properly. And so he's saying how strange it is and very foreign for them. This is like the sound that's coming in is like a sort of arpeggiated synth that I've just put through this sort of distortion stuff, and it sounds pretty out of key and weird, and then you've got another one coming in and they kind of mix in and out, and it sounds off key in all the right ways, if you know what I mean. It doesn't sound right, but it sounds good to me anyway. I really liked it. Yeah. The piece, the vocal that just happened is actually the only English-speaking person on it, and it's the Dalai Lama, who's talking about how much he appreciates the sacrifice of the sort of hospital staff, doctors and nurses who've sacrificed the ultimate, i.e. their life, in helping people through this, trying to overcome this. No, not in the slightest. No, it was just a random occurrence, I guess. As is with a lot of this my stuff. Yeah, I think the first person that you hear is Vladimir Putin, who's, I think it translates as with God's help, the people of Russia will get through this, and I just thought it was a really interesting quote to use. That's the Italian guys saying ciao. There's also a German woman who's saying that she's been, in her spare time, she's been fashioning masks for the whole family out of random bits of material she's found lying about the house. There's also a Russian woman in the beginning who's saying how completely let down she and everyone that she knows feels completely let down by the Russian government and how they've reacted in the situation, and how they were kind of weren't allowed to work or get money, and the family was struggling. It was, pretty horrific, really. So yeah, there you go, 19 voices that track was. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so thank you for joining me on this very bizarre experience for me. Never done anything like this before. So, but yeah, so that was my new EP again, Freedom in Isolation. It's called. I've got a bunch of copies left on my Bandcamp. If you just stick Rorquals Bandcamp into Google, you'll find it. £5 each. Or you can download it for free, as with any of my own solo released material that I've released myself. It's all free download on there. So yeah, head to my Bandcamp and check it out. Again, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you liked what you heard, and yeah, I'll catch you soon. Thanks very much.